Putin's proposal, a path to peace or a smokescreen? Russian President Vladimir Putin has proposed an interim government in Ukraine, overseen by the United Nations. The proposal aims to break the deadlock and pave the way for peace. Critics, however, question Putin's true motives. Is it a genuine path to peace or a smokescreen for furthering Kremlin interests? The Kremlin has sought to portray its proposal as a pragmatic solution to a complex problem. Russian officials have repeatedly stressed their desire for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. They argue that an interim government offers the best hope of achieving this goal. Putin has repeatedly questioned the legitimacy of the current Ukrainian government, led by President Volodymyr Zelensky. He has accused Zelensky of being a puppet of the West and of failing to represent the interests of the Ukrainian people. By proposing an interim government, Putin is effectively seeking to delegitimize the current Ukrainian leadership and create a power vacuum that Russia could potentially exploit. The Kremlin has also sought to use the proposal to bolster its own standing on the international stage. By presenting itself as a peacemaker, Russia hopes to deflect criticism of its actions in Ukraine. It also aims to undermine Western support for Ukraine by creating the impression that a negotiated settlement is within reach. However, many international observers remain unconvinced by Russia's overtures. They point to Russia's continued military buildup near the Ukrainian border and its ongoing support for separatist forces in eastern Ukraine as evidence that Moscow is not genuinely committed to peace. The Ukrainian government has vehemently rejected Putin's proposal, denouncing it as a blatant attempt by Russia to dictate terms to a sovereign nation. Ukrainian officials have accused Russia of hypocrisy, pointing to the Kremlin's ongoing military intervention in their country as evidence of its true intentions. President Zelensky has dismissed Putin's proposal as a smokescreen designed to conceal Russia's true objectives. He has vowed to continue defending Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Zelensky has accused Russia of deliberately undermining efforts to find a peaceful solution to the conflict. Ukraine maintains that it is committed to a diplomatic solution to the conflict. However, it insists that any negotiations must be based on the principles of international law and respect for Ukraine's territorial integrity. Ukraine has called on the international community to condemn Russia's actions and increase pressure on Moscow to end its aggression. The Ukrainian government has also expressed concerns that Russia's proposal for an interim government could be used to install a pro-Russian puppet regime in Kiev. This, they argue, would be unacceptable and would only serve to prolong the conflict. The international community has been closely watching the unfolding events in Ukraine. The United Nations has called for all parties to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. However, concrete action from the international community has been limited. European leaders have condemned Russia's proposal for an interim government, calling it a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. They have urged Russia to withdraw its troops from Ukraine and engage in meaningful peace negotiations. The United States has also rejected Putin's proposal, calling it a non-starter. Despite the condemnation from Western powers, Russia has shown no signs of backing down. The Kremlin has vowed to continue its military operation in Ukraine until its objectives are achieved. This has raised fears of a protracted conflict that could have devastating consequences for the region and beyond. As the conflict in Ukraine enters its third year, the international community faces a critical juncture. The situation remains volatile and unpredictable, with the potential for further escalation. The need for a peaceful resolution has never been greater, but the path to achieving it remains elusive.